In this video, we're going to be going over the top 10 GMT watches that you can buy for under £10,000. Welcome back to the Chisholm Hunter channel. My name is Harrison, as always. And before we start this video, I've got something to ask of you, a favor to ask really quickly. I realize that 82% of you that watch these videos haven't yet subscribed to the channel. If you could do a watch nerd, a watch enthusiast, a huge favor and hit that subscribe button, I'd really appreciate it. Coming in at number 1, and before I annoy anyone, this is in no particular order. The first watch that I have chosen is the new Chudar Black Bay 58 GMT, commonly known as the Coke. This watch comes in at £3,960, but one of the reasons why I've picked this watch specifically is because of the sizing. It actually, being a 58 model, it actually comes in at 39mm, and it wears pretty beautifully on the wrist. Drew behind the camera actually has the Black Bay 58, and it's perfect for, I'd say, 5.5 to 7-inch wrists. This watch is waterproof to 200 meters and has a thickness of 12.8 millimeters. Now, the bezel on this watch is one of the most attractive pieces of this watch, known as the Coke, because obviously it's burgundy and black. And it's actually in more of a glossed finish rather than a matte finish. And this is the same aluminium disc kind of insert that they use in the Black Bay 58 range before. To top that all off, we've actually started with one of the best GMT models you can get for that price, because this watch is actually COSC and METAS certified. For just under £4,000, you cannot find a watch better. At number 2, we have a little bit of a weird one, but I went down a rabbit hole the other day researching them. This is the Ball Hydrocarbon Aero GMT 2, coming in at 42mm. This is a little bit more of a chunky monkey. It doesn't skip breakfast. It is a fat boy. This model comes in at just under £3,000, and the one that I would go for, the one that I think is sexiest, is, again, the Coke-looking model. It has a black face, it has a black part to the bezel, and also a red part to the bezel. Now, this watch is a little bit more bulky, and you can see that with that kind of iconic crown and crown guards that are kind of a staple to Ball as a brand. It is water resistant to 100 meters, is available on a rubber strap if you want it on the rubber strap, and it comes in at a height, or it has a thickness of 13.85 millimeters. This is a damn good option, and Ball, I need to talk about them more because they're a pretty cool brand. Next up at number 3, we have a total icon in the industry. It is the Rolex Explorer 2, possibly the most versatile watch ever. Now, this comes in at £8,500. It comes in a black or white dial. It comes in at 42mm, has an oyster bracelet, or you could pair it with a NATO strap, which looks pretty awesome. Now, the footage that I'm showing you of this watch was actually taken in Zermatt with Adrian's watch. So this was my footage, but look how sexy that watch looks. What I really love about this watch, though, aside from the fact that it's Rolex, is the super sexy stainless steel bezel. Now, stainless steel bezels are kind of a dying breed in the industry. Everyone's going with ceramic like this. And on that note, it's probably time for the wrist check. What is on your wrist today? Please let me know in the comments. I am wearing... Okay, please don't kill me, but I am wearing the Omega C Master. At number 4, we have a brand that has been honestly crushing it at the moment. Everything they touch just turns to gold. It is the Longines Spirit Zulu Time, and this is the 42mm model. Now, you do have a couple of variants to choose between. You do have a blue, green, or black. My personal favorite is the black. You do have the choice between a bracelet or a leather strap on these models. I would not, if it was me, suggest the leather strap. Reason being is that leather straps, for some reason on my wrist, kind of sit on the bone. They're a little bit funky, a little bit weird. I prefer the bracelet. And also the bracelet on this watch is pretty damn good quality. So that's just my suggestion, but I would go for the bracelet. This model also has an in-house Longines movement, which of course is the caliber L844.4. Now, this actually has 72 hours of power and beats at a frequency of 25,200 VPH. Following on with that Longines hype train, if you want to call it that, we actually have the Longines Hydrocarbon Conquest GMT. Now, this is a relatively recent model. It was released around about the end of 2023. And this model is probably the best upgrade of a watch that I've ever seen, hands down. It is honestly brilliant. These models come in at 41mm, and you have a ton of different colors to choose between. You have black, you actually have a brown model, which is kind of weird, but wears a lot better than you think. Then you also have a green, and of course, a black. Did I say black? And a blue. You have all of those colors. Now, if the 41mm version isn't big enough for you, which it normally would be, but if it wasn't, you could go for the 43mm variant. They actually have two variants of this watch. I would suggest the 41, but the 43 is there if you want to try it. These models come in at £2,750 on the bracelet, and I would suggest getting the bracelet for this watch because that's one of the key upgrades that they kind of made from the previous version of the Hydro Conquest. I'm not sure if you guys remember on the previous version of the Hydro Conquest, they kind of had this flap on the clasp. It was like a Longines branded flap. They took that away, they upgraded it, they made it sleeker, smoother, better. It is just better. Coming in at number 6 is a watch that, if you're looking at it, it's definitely not your first watch. I know if you're looking at this watch that you are a collector. This is for you Grand Seiko lovers out there. This is the SBG J277. And it has that beautiful green and white bezel with the dial looking just wonderful. It's to die for. The depth on that dial. I mean, come on. The official name to this watch, apart from the snobby model number that I just read out, I'm sorry I even read that out, I should have said the name of the watch. It is the Snow Valley Triple Time Zone. And this isn't for the faint-hearted, this watch. This is for hardcore Grand Seiko fans because it is pretty damn big. It comes in at 44.2mm in diameter and has a case thickness of 14.4mm. This is big. And I feel like Grand Seiko do nail their elegance models. The snowflake, all that kind of stuff, they're fantastic. But I feel like they need to hone in a wee bit more on their sports models. Let me know if you agree in the comments. This watch is powered by Grand Seiko's very own high beat in-house caliber, which is the 9S86 caliber. This vibrates at 36,000 vibrations per hour. It also has a power reserve of 55 hours, and as I say, this Grand Seiko is fantastic. I love the combination of green and white against that beautiful textured dial, but it's not for the faint-hearted, guys. It is a little bit more chunky. And it comes in at £6,500. At number 7, we have the brand new GMT Master 2 from Rolex. And I'm sorry to be so cliche here. I'm sorry to go for the hype models, but come on, look at this. This watch to me is built to withstand time. And the reason that I say this is, normally speaking, watches that have bright colors don't last as long. I mean, you wouldn't think that your gran or grandpa would wear bright colored watch. You know, they'd wear very muted tones, blacks, whites, maybe blue at a push. And this is where I think this watch really shines through. It has a black dial and a gray and black bezel. It comes in at 40mm, and Rolex kind of nail their specs. It does wear really, really well on the wrist. I managed to try it on really quickly at Watches and Wonders. I didn't get a photo though, which kind of annoys me. It also comes in at £9,350. So it's just under the 10k mark, but that's if you can get it new. That's a pretty big caveat. Just to caveat that, I really love how that green GMT hand plays against that black dial. I think this watch is just built to last through the ages. It seriously is. Yeah, one day. At number 8, we have the tool watch of the tool watches. This is right up there with the best tool watch that you can buy. It is the Omega Seamaster GMT Planet Ocean 600 meters. Again, this is a chunky boy coming in at 43.5mm in diameter and, wait for this, 17mm in thickness. It is big, it is bold, but it is brilliant. It comes in black and the bezel is in black and white, and it's a fully ceramic bezel. Now, the reason that I say that this is the tool watch of all tool watches, we actually had a gentleman called Brian Wood on the Into the Mind podcast, and he was in the military for a long time, and he actually was featured, or there's a film made about him called The Battle of Danny Boy. Now, this battle was obviously horrendously harrowing for everybody there, and it left everybody there very, very scarred, and war is just a terrible, terrible thing. But when Brian got back and when he was on the podcast, guess what watch he was wearing? He wasn't wearing a Seamaster, he wasn't wearing an Aquaterra, he was wearing a Planet Ocean. And he wore the Planet Ocean because this is the tool watch amongst the elegant watches. It's more rugged. It's more built to be worn in those environments. Whereas the Seamaster, for an example, has a lot more features that are just kind of more sexy. Whereas this is more of a rugged work watch. It goes to water resistance of 600 meters, or is water resistant to 600 meters, and has a beautiful bracelet with macro extensions if you want to use it over a wetsuit or whatever it might be within the water. I honestly have a special place in my heart for the Planet Ocean, and so does Brian, which is pretty awesome. This Planet Ocean comes in at £8,200. And at number 9, we have something a little bit more elegant, a little bit more, shall we say, sexy. This is the Breitling Chronomat GMT coming in at 40 millimeters. It's brilliantly sized, and I've actually paired it with a rubber strap. I think this is the one you should go for. I'm really attracted to it when it's on the rubber strap. But again, that's just my opinion. Please don't take my word for it. Try it on at your local Chisholm Hunter and make your mind up. This comes in at £6,650. So it's by no means cheap. And this is with the rubber strap, by the way. It also has this beautiful baby blue dial with, again, and this is something that's missing, in my opinion, in the industry, a stainless steel bezel. And actually, the case of this watch is made from both platinum and stainless steel, which is pretty cool. I don't know which metal is where, and I'd love to hear your feedback on that, but the fact it's made from both is awesome. This model is powered by Breitling's very own in-house Breitling Caliber 32. And this has 21 joules, beats at a vibration of 28,800 VPH, and has around about 42 hours of power. The brilliant thing about this watch, though, is that it comes in at 11.7 millimeters in thickness, so it is quite thin. It's just the way that this watch looks and feels on the wrist is really to die for. Actually, my brother bought this exact watch, and I'm jealous. At number 10, we're stripping it back to basics. We're going back to the start, back to an entry-level GMT from a fantastic brand, by the way. This is the Seiko 5 Sports GMT. This is the Black Grape edition. You do have other variations to choose between, but I've gone for the Black Grape because I think that's the most mainstream model. I think it's the model that would fit most people's wrists. But again, don't take my word for it. Go and try them on wherever you can. This comes in at 42.5 millimeters in diameter and has a thickness of 13.56 millimeters. This model is also water resistant to 100 meters and has the Seiko Caliber 4R34 in it, which has 41 hours of power. Honestly, overall, this is just a really good entry-level watch if you're starting in the industry and want a GMT model. I thought I'd try and cover as many price variations as possible. And on that note, thank you guys so much for watching this Chisholm Hunter video. If you have enjoyed, please consider hitting that subscribe button or follow our Instagram at Chisholm Hunter Watches. Remember to hit that little bell icon. It means you get notifications when we drop new videos. Or follow our Into the Mind podcast, which is the Into the Mind podcast on YouTube and Spotify. I'll see you soon.